Hey everybody, welcome back into my kitchen here. Yesterday we made cream cheese biscuits, and thank you guys for responding to those and commenting, and a lot of people have already commented and said they made them, so I really hope you enjoyed them. But today I want to share a recipe with you guys that I got from a sweet lady in our church. Her name was Faye, and she passed away a couple days ago, was a year. And so we all miss her terribly, but she was known in our household. I don't know how many people have had this cake, but at home, every Christmas, they would bring this particular cake and a grape salad to our home on Christmas. And that was one of the highlights for us, was waiting for Tommy and Faye to drop off this Kentucky pound cake. And so I texted her and I asked her for the recipe a while back, and I'm so glad that I did. So I'm able to share it with you guys now. I asked her family, could I share this here with you guys here on Facebook, and they graciously said yes. So I promise you, if you make this, you are going to absolutely love it. It's called a Kentucky pound cake. I may have already said the name of it, but if not, it's called a Kentucky pound cake. And I've put everything out here so you can see exactly what I'm doing and try to make this easy for you guys. So we're going to start with 2.5 cups of self-rising flour, and it is sifted. And so I've already sifted that. And if you don't have a sifter, you can just take a whisk and go around in your bowl, and that's good enough. I promise you, I've done it many of times. If you don't have a sifter, do not worry. And then we're going to put 2 cups of sugar. And then we're going to do a cup and a half of oil. And her recipe called for Wesson oil, but there's a few people that know a funny story behind that. But you can use plain old cooking oil. It does not have to be Wesson. So then I'm going to go ahead and put this over here on this mixer and mix that up before I keep adding ingredients, and I'll tell you what we're going to do next. I'm going to start this as low as I possibly can so we don't have a mess here. So this is just the flour, the sugar, and the oil. And then I'm going to cut that off once that gets mixed well enough. And then it calls for a large can of crushed pineapple. And I did not have crushed pineapple. So I took a can of pineapple chunks and put it in a food processor, and it almost turned to pineapple soup. So don't do this. It will work for today, I promise you. But the recipe does not call for pineapple soup. So we're going to do a large can of crushed pineapple, and make sure to drain the juice and save it, because we're going to use that later for an icing that is very simple as well, but it goes incredibly well with this cake. And then we're doing a cup of pecans. And I like my pecans pretty fine. You can do them as big or as small as you'd like. And then a cup of sweetened coconut. And then we're going to add 4 eggs. And I just broke those into a thing and already lightly beat those. You don't have to go crazy with them. The mixer will get that for you. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. And that is it. So we're going to mix this up here. I'm still getting used to how to work this thing, so y'all bear with me. So we're going to mix this up, and then we're going to put it into, I've already greased a cake pan here. And I like using several brands that they have their own form of it, but I enjoy using the pan with flour in it. It helps the cakes release with a lot less ease, and it works well for me. So if you don't have that, I'm sure plain spray is fine, but I enjoy the kind with the flour. And this is that simple, y'all. It doesn't take but just a second to mix up. And we are going to cut that off, and I'm going to scrape this off here. And you're not going to pour every little bit of the batter into this pan, because I tried that one time and had a disaster all in my oven. So if you want to save yourself a lot of heartache, do not pour every bit of this batter into your pan. You'll have enough to make almost like a little loaf pan will be left over, and you can make a little loaf. And if you're wanting to gift this to somebody, good luck. You have a little loaf, you get to keep it home and enjoy it all to yourself. So I'm going to pour this in here. Like I said, I'm not going to pour every bit of it, but probably 3/4 or a little more of it. And that is plenty. So this is about what you'll have. Actually, I'm going to pour a little more. I don't know why, but I'm going to use more than I usually do. It don't look as full. But like I said, this cake is so simple, y'all. You really can't mess it up. There's really no way to. I'm going to grab a paper towel and clean the top of this off so we don't have a mess on the pan. And then I'm going to pop this into a 350-degree oven for 1 hour. That is all you do, and or until done. Just stick a knife down in it, and you'll know if it's done. And then we're going to make a second part of this video, and when this is done, we will pour it out onto a cake pan, and we'll show you how to make the icing that goes on top. All right, y'all, so we're back, and our cake is done. I've made 5 of these over the last few weeks, and unfortunately, as you can see, this one's stuck. I was bragging on Pam and the flour that you put in there, and you see what happened. So sorry about that, but it'll taste the same. So do not stress over that. We're going to take the reserved pineapple juice, and I'm going to pour it here in this bowl. And then you can make this as sweet or as, what's the word I'm looking for? As non-sweet, I guess, as you want to, with the powdered sugar. This is roughly 3/4, between half and 3/4 of a cup that I'm going to pour in this pineapple juice. And I'm just going to whisk this together really nicely and try to get as many of those powdered sugar lumps out as I can. This is as simple as it gets. Talked about, I got this recipe from a lady at my dad's church. When you grow up, my dad is a pastor, still pastors a church in Stockbridge, Georgia. And when your dad is a pastor, you don't get just your own grandparents to go there. You get an additional 20, 25 sets. And I've loved that growing up. My dad started the church when I was 7. So ever since then, we've been given incredible recipes and had great people in Dad's church that have treated us like their own grandkids. And so recipes like that bring back all those memories. And the lady I got this recipe from, their names are Tommy and Faye Knight. They're actually my niece and nephew, Carter and Hadley. They were their godparents. So it's really cool. And then my mom grew up being best friends with their daughter. So it's crazy how life turns out sometimes. But I promise you, this is one of the best and simple recipes you'll ever make. So I'm just going to take this pineapple and powdered sugar, and I'm just going to pour it. Oh, and you do this while the cake is hot. And you just pour this juice over the cake. And while I'm doing this, I told you guys earlier that you may have enough of the batter left over to make a small little loaf pan. Actually, this is all I had left. This is just a small little casserole dish, tiny little dish. But I didn't want to waste this batter. It's too good. So I did save this batter and cook it in this little dish here. So it makes a full Bundt pan, and then this little bit is left over. So just recap, you mix all this stuff together and pour it over the cake. And that is it, y'all. So I baked this for exactly 1 hour. And the knife came out clean, so I removed it. And all we did was mix the pineapple juice and the powdered sugar together and pour it over the cake. And so let's cut this. It's going to be really warm and probably just about fall apart. It's okay for me. So here we go, y'all. Kentucky pound cake. I made one of these at our house Christmas Eve and just about got gone. So I made another one Christmas Day, and we love this at our house. So this cake is extremely moist. So it is not a dry cake, so it's very, very, very good. I think Miss Faye would be proud. Said I wasn't going to do another one of these till next week, but I'm still snowed in and I'm hungry. So here you go. We'll see y'all next week.